As Sadiq Khan's ultra-low emission zone expands all the way to the M25, one Londoner believes he may have discovered a legal loophole which could cause chaos for TfL.
I started scaffolding about 20 years ago, and I decided 6 or 7 years ago to open up my own business. It was over the pandemic when this happened. It was one day, the girl who works in our office, she said to me, we've got all of these fines that have come through from TfL. And I couldn't understand it, what it was, the low emission zone. I've never even heard of it, didn't know anything about it at all. So I went into the yard and I was talking to the lads in the yard, because I wasn't actually the driver of the vehicle at that time, it was somebody else. And he said to me, I swear to God, Noel, I never went through any charging zones. And I genuinely believed him. And it was on that basis then that what I did was look at the routes where they'd photographed the registration number of the vehicle. And I couldn't see anything that resembled a charge or anything that would even indicate a charge. So that is the low emission zone. So we're in the area now of where I was getting all of the fines, all around this area, which is around RAF Norfolk. So I started looking at the Road Traffic Regulations Act. Then I started studying the Ministry of Transport website, Know Your Signs it's called, the latest edition. And yet again, there was nothing in there regarding the low emission zone. So I appealed to TfL on the basis that their signage is not lawful, and they came back and they refused my appeal. So I appealed to the independent tribunal. I spoke to the judge, I explained my case to him. I outlined the point that how is somebody from Nottingham supposed to know that these signs, that there's a charge? And he agreed. The judge decided to adjourn the case for 21 days to give TfL the opportunity to provide the evidence that their road signs were lawful and legal. They didn't provide the evidence and the judge ruled in my favour. And I've always kind of wondered what to do, knowing that I had, in essence, the Holy Grail in my hands, that a judge has agreed that these signs are unlawful and illegal.
On October 17th, 2021, the London Tribunal's road user charging adjudicators ruled that all 7 penalty charges and fines should be scrapped. Despite the win, TfL continued to send bailiffs to get Noel to pay up.
After we had the court order, TfL came after us and continued with their enforcement action against us afterwards, even though we had the court order.
Noel's victory isn't binding on other courts, but he believes his case will set a precedent, encouraging others to appeal in similar situations.
So right here, we're at the start of the ULEZ, yeah? So this is where we are now. So we're at Hanger Lane, and as you go through this tunnel here, this is where you hit the boundary of the ULEZ. These are the cameras that hit your number plate as you go through the boundary. So that camera up there is the one that captures the back of your vehicle as you go through. This sign that's on that lamppost in the middle there is telling you that you're entering into the Ulez zone. It says Transport for London at the top, which is the charge, obviously the charging authority, Transport for London. But as you can see from that sign, it says ultra low emission zone. It doesn't indicate to any motorist that there is a charge. So anybody who's coming in, and this is a massive route coming in from Birmingham, Oxford and stuff like that, where they're not used to London. They don't know what London regulations might be. They're travelling in, they haven't got a clue that now that they've entered an actual charging zone. We've all seen the Dartford charge. We've all seen the congestion charge, where it clearly states that you're entering a charging zone. As you're going through the charge, it still tells you what website you need to go to make the charge. And when you're leaving it, it says, please do not forget to pay your Dartford charge. It's the same with the congestion charge. It's got the red C, and that is what the law requires. And that is how most people or most motorists will identify that there's some form of charging process in place.
It's a complete and utter scam. It's a cash-grabbing project. Every single driver on this planet wants to breathe clean air. They want their families to grow up in a wonderful, good planet. But you don't do it by hitting people in the pocket. And that's the issue. He's not thought this through whatsoever. It is purely a cash grab.